I had a critic once again ask me, where is Zarahemla? The Book of Mormon has no archaeological verification. You can't even find one of the greatest of cities, Zarahemla. Therefore, the Book of Mormon's phony. It's a different story when we have the Bible. The critics will argue, we have Jerusalem. This gives a sense of realism, of accuracy to the Bible. What it teaches is accurate and true. We have more than Jerusalem. We have Jericho. We have Galilee. We know where the Dead Sea is and the Sea of Galilee. You poor bankrupt Mormons, you have nothing to verify the Book of Mormon. We have lots of stuff to verify the Bible. We have Jerusalem, for Pete's sake. Therefore, the Bible must be accurate. Its teachings are true. Well, the Bible teaches Jesus Christ is the Son of God. We have that verified archaeologically because we have Jerusalem. Well, taking the critics' logic in this argument, with all of its inferences and assumptions and the reasoning behind it, I wish to show you the absolute absurdity of such a horribly weak argument. Schliemann found the city of Troy in the 1800s. Archaeologically, Troy has been discovered. Well, this gives a sense of realism, of accuracy to the Iliad. We know now that this is real history. We have the archaeology, just as surely as we have the archaeology of the Bible with Jerusalem. The Iliad teaches that Zeus is God. More than this, the Iliad teaches Zeus is the father of the gods. Well, except for his father Uranus, who ate all the kids, and Zeus was spared through a miracle. Clever thinking by the goddess. So Zeus is real. In fact, the Iliad says not only are we to worship Zeus with our libations and prayers like the ancient Greeks did, but there's many gods. Zeus is the father of all the gods. We have Apollo, the wide strider, the archer. We've got Poseidon, the god of the sea. We have all kinds of gods. It's interesting, now that we have the Iliad archaeologically verified, we know that God was married. I mean, hey, his babe was Hera, the goddess. We know who our mother goddess is now. We know Heavenly Mother. It's Hera. Isn't that nice? After all these years, we finally have archaeological proof of Heavenly Mother. It's Hera. You know, the poor gal that had to put up with Zeus's antics on the side with all the other little babes. But let's not go into that detail. It might mar the godhood of Zeus. Well, this is interesting because this means God has sex with his wife. He had kids. We've got the record of it archaeologically. It's verified. We've got the city Troy. Zeus is above Jesus. He's the father of the gods. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Using the inference and logic of the critics in this argument, we can show there's many gods, and it's archaeologically verified now. We can show that God has sex. He must have a body. He's got wife. We can show that there's gods all over the place. Hey, not only in the old world, but in Mesoamerica, the Popol Vuh. Yeah, we've got the cities of Mesoamerica all over the place down there. We know now that's real. That's accurate. That's history. All the gods and the stories in the Popol Vuh. Hey, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. We know where Cairo is. We have Heliopolis, Memphis. We've got the cities of the Egyptians. Therefore, all those gods, Ptah and Re and Isis, the mother goddess, again, the gods are married. They have kids, lots of kids. Man, there's lots of gods. Anubis and all of the gods of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. We have the archaeological verification. We've got the cities. The utter absurdity of the argument that, well, you haven't found Zarahemla, therefore the Book of Mormon has no archaeological proof for it. The ridiculous reliance upon archaeology as having the final say-so. I have challenged critics for well over a decade now, going on 2 decades, 15 years minimum. I have asked them to produce just one bona fide biblical archaeologist who contends that archaeology has the final proof and say-so of a text and its teachings and people's beliefs. And they have never shown me that, because that does not exist. I read the archaeologists just as surely as I read the Bible and the literature of the Greeks. Homer and Herodotus and Xenophanes and Xenophon and Thucydides and Herodotus. It's a great literature. I read the ancient Egyptian materials also. The absurdity of this argument, now, and of course the critics are going to find a way to separate the Bible from all the other literatures. The double standard is so obvious. No, our logic fits only with the Bible, and all the others are obviously mythology, but hold on. Using the same logic and the same step-by-step analysis, I can prove what I have said. I'll bet the critics have never thought this through, have they? Now we know there's multitudinous gods out there. Every one of them real, because we found the cities. We know that the gods were married, had sex, enjoyed the high life, got drunk, and all that jazz. We know now all about the gods thanks to archaeology. This is the critics' end of their argument, stringing it out using their logic. This is the absolute case we can make. When a critic argues this way with you, when a critic asks you, where's Zarahemla? As if that's a refutation, I promise you can laugh. The illogical, unreasoning, the absolute bankrupt absurdity of the argument, once it's carried all the way through, is obvious to everyone except those who use this argument as their supposed ace in the hole. They think they have a royal flush, and they're going down the toilet themselves. They don't understand that their royal flush is flushing them down the toilet, not us. You have nothing to fear from someone who thinks in such an illogical, limited, weak way. That's not an argument at all. It has nothing to do with the verity of any texts. Once again, I will say, I've said it dozens of times, I will continue saying this, because the critics know I'm right. They have never refuted this, ever. Having Jerusalem does not prove Jesus was crucified or was resurrected. Having Jerusalem does not prove King David slept with Bathsheba. Having Jerusalem does not prove Jesus even existed or that Isaiah gave his oracles of woe to ancient Israel. Having Jerusalem does absolutely nothing to verify any of the teachings of the Beatitudes of Jesus, the miracles of Jesus, or the words of Jesus. Having Jerusalem doesn't prove Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, or Paul, or Peter ever even existed. A city by itself is worthless to verify a text's teachings. I would love to see a critic find an archaeologist who will refute me.